Well, I quite recently received this Mountain Laurel Designs quilt. It's called the Spirit 48, I do believe, which means 48 indicates that you can reasonably comfortably sleep using it down to 48 Fahrenheit, which is around about 9 degrees centigrade. I think personally I'd probably want a down bag down to that temperature because I'm a cold sleeper. I bought this for summer use when it's on the warmer side. So what I thought I would do is, even though I probably won't be actually using it for many months, I just thought I'd show you around it, because there's not a lot on the internet for this quilt, I don't think. So I'll just show you down the bottom first. The bottom section from here to here, this is the medium, although Ron's marked it as medium here, but on the website it's sold as regular, but it's the same thing. So this section here is the sort of the foot section and is open, and there's a Velcro strip that runs down there, but there's a cinch cord here, so you can do up the cinch cord and that completely closes the end off. So you could potentially still get a tiny draft through the end there, but again, bearing in mind this is a summer weight bag, that doesn't matter. I think in the colder quilts that Ron does, he supplies something to cover that little hole up. As I say, this is a very small hole. I can't even get my finger in it. Go get my. Anyway, we'll stop trying to stick my fingers in holes, especially this time of the morning. So let's move up a little bit further, and you get a clip attached here, and Ron supplies 2 pieces of strapping. There's an elasticated piece which you could use for here if you want an adjustable elastic piece, and that weighs 18 grams, but I don't think I'll be using that. I'll be using this, which is about 6 grams, and this just attaches there and there, and then it's got draw cords on each side where you can tighten that up to bring those together or loosen them off to whatever is your preference, and we'll come to that in a minute. The weight of this bag on the website is listed as 12 ounces for the medium stroke regular. That is 340 grams. I've weighed this including this strap, and I've got 299 grams, so I've actually saved around about 41 grams. The head section has 2 poppers with straps that you could tie cord to if you wanted to tie it up that way, maybe around the mat perhaps. But that poppers up, and then again there's a draw cord here where once your head's inside you could cinch that around your neck. This is a Pro Light regular, and you can see it's pretty much the same size as the Pro Light regular. So that gives you a rough idea as to size and everything on that. You need to get the strap under the mat and then cinch it up, something like that. You can adjust it. That's probably about right actually, because you probably want it so that the edge is just over there and then it's just over there. There's no point having the insulation pulled underneath, so that's probably about right. And then to get in, you could undo those poppers and then just lie down like that. Lie down and then get your poppers around the back of your neck. Oh, somehow in the back of your neck. The thing is with this, I need a pillow, and then you can cinch that up tight around the neck, not too tight, and then you're inside. And that's my knee bent completely, so that's my foot there, that's my knee bent, and that's my feet in the bottom. I've had to move so you may not be able to see my feet, but my feet are in the bottom, and I can pull this around me, get that under me, and then go to sleep. Oh god, I need a pillow. So that actually fits me perfectly. And you could, you can put it under your elbows, and I put it around my back. So I think there's plenty of room there. And of course, the other thing you could do, and then as I said, I haven't got any cord with me, but of course you could put some cord through there, and then put both ends down there like that underneath, and that would just keep it in place. And then you could adjust, like you do a duvet at home, just put it around yourself and then just go to sleep. Right. So that's that. But I think what I'm most impressed with is the amount of room, considering that this is just the medium. And if I just move the whole thing up a bit here, as I say, that's my feet there. And I can move my feet around, separate my feet. There's plenty of room. I can bend my knees. So there's loads of room. But the other thing I wanted to show you is this. This is something that Ron was kind enough to send me. And this is the new quilt liner. So how this would work is you would put this inside and then somehow get in it. Because I hope Randy and Stuart and people like that are watching this, because I'll be expecting them to all buy all this stuff. I'll be expecting a commission for this video. Doing this for free, Right. So, and again, that's now inside the liner, and again I just the liner is absolutely massive, and you can see me My legs quite well spread there, knees bent. So this thing is pretty ginormous, and I'm only 5'8", bear in mind, but I can get this completely over my head. Biggie boo! And that's got quite a bit of spare space, so you'd probably be fine even if you were 6 foot in that. And as I say, that then goes in there. And of course this would help cut out any stray drafts or something like that that might get through. So, but the other thought that I had is, it is so massive, this quilt would potentially even fit inside this without compressing that. I don't know, but this is, you know, massive. So, and it's not going to be it's not waterproof material, but it will certainly be highly water resistant. The seams aren't sealed, of course, but again, there's only one seam. So this will probably be my new emergency winter bivvy bag, because you never want to use it, but it would certainly suffice in an emergency, I think. I know it's not marketed, and Ron doesn't even put bivvy bag for a suggestion on the website, but in an emergency, I think it would do that. As I say, I wouldn't want to be sleeping in it at sub-zero temperatures. So that's that. Open this out. You probably know by now, I never know what I'm going to say in these videos. I never know how daft I'm going to be. I never know what's going to come out of my mouth from one minute to the next. And that's opened up like that, so that's pretty wide there. Might be worth me grabbing a tape measure just to give you some measurements. But again, if you wanted to, there would be no real reason why you couldn't get some cord round here and here, tie the cord together underneath so that the ends were, you know, about that position there, just underneath, and then cinch it up like that. Or you could even maybe, again, let's just see, and if you can see what I'm doing. Yes, you can. You could maybe just, whoops, cinch it up like that. And then, oh God, this is going to be another long video. Another long video. Try and do these things quickly, it's difficult. Right, so cinch that around there, just do that up a fraction. So you could potentially do it like that. The only thing is, part of the material is underneath, but not a lot. Just trying to get it down to make sure I'm in the picture. Doing it like that, you'll probably almost cut out that draft at the end by wrapping it around the foot of the mat. Wouldn't be quite so easy with a half-size mat, because you're using the mat. But that still comes up well up to my neck. I'm usually up to my neck in it. Right, and then that fits round like that. So that's another way of doing it. and then you've got, as I say, just as much room as before, arguably even more now. So that will work as well. Well, it works in my conservatory anyway. Whether it works out in the field is a different matter, of course, but certainly the principle is there. So that's a pretty quick, or a pretty long rundown on the Quilt 48, and there's a little bit of loft in there, certainly plenty of material in there. As I say, I am a cold sleeper, so I personally don't think I'd be warming this at 8 or 9 degrees as advertised, but then you would, you could always add a couple of layers inside. And of course, another thing that you can do is use this quilt, although you may want a bigger quilt, as an over quilt over a sleeping bag to raise the sort of your operating temperature of your sleeping bag a few degrees. And I think one advantage with thatch, from what I'm learning, is that if you did that, you would get the condensation in this, because this would be your top level, rather than in your sleeping bag. But that's a completely different, complicated subject, so I'll leave that for now and for people who know what the hell they're talking about, because I don't. So that's the quilt, and as you can see, it's not a bad piece of kit, that, so I look forward to giving that a try next year, as I say, when it's a little bit warmer. So I hope that's of interest, and also the liner bag as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you all again in the future. Thanks, bye bye.